Here's something many people wait for before they act. Certainty. They want to be sure they're making the right choice. They want to eliminate doubt. They want the feeling that nothing important is being missed. That sounds reasonable, but it often leads to the wrong outcome. Because clarity and certainty are not the same thing. So let's slow this down and separate them. Certainty is about eliminating doubt. Clarity is about knowing what matters. Those are very different goals. Most real decisions are not made with certainty. They are made with incomplete information, imperfect forecasts, and competing priorities. Waiting for certainty in those situations does not make decisions better. It usually just delays them, and delay is a decision. Here's where the confusion starts. People often think clarity means knowing everything. They think it means seeing all possible outcomes, all risks, and all consequences in advance. That standard is impossible. If clarity required certainty, very little in life would ever move forward. Careers would never change. Relationships would never begin. Creative work would never ship. What actually matters is something else. Clarity is knowing what information is relevant. It is knowing what you can tolerate being wrong about. And it is knowing what kind of decision you're making. This is where reversibility matters. Some decisions are easily reversible. You can change them, undo them, or course correct with relatively low cost. Other decisions are much harder to reverse. They lock in consequences, close doors, or commit resources in ways that are difficult to unwind. Treating those two kinds of decisions the same is a mistake. When a decision is reversible, the bar for clarity can be lower. You do not need perfect information. You need enough information to try, learn, and adjust. When a decision is hard to reverse, the bar is higher. You slow down. You gather more evidence. You think more carefully about long-term consequences. In both cases, certainty is still not required. What is required is proportionality. This is where people get stuck. They apply the standards of irreversible decisions to reversible ones. They overanalyze. They delay. They wait for more certainty than the situation calls for. That feels responsible, but it often leads to paralysis. And paralysis has costs. Opportunities pass. Feedback is delayed. Learning never happens. Clarity does not come from thinking forever. It often comes from acting, observing, and updating. This connects directly to the other ideas you've seen in this series. Possible versus probable. Confidence versus evidence. Explanation versus prediction. In each case, the problem is not uncertainty. The problem is how we respond to it. We either pretend uncertainty does not exist, or we treat it as a reason to do nothing. Both are mistakes. Clear thinking means accepting uncertainty without being controlled by it. It means asking better questions. What information actually matters here? What is the cost of being wrong? How reversible is this decision? What will I learn if I act? Those questions are more useful than, can I be sure? Because in many real decisions, certainty isn't available. This is especially important in personal decision-making. People often say they are stuck because they lack clarity. But what they usually mean is that they lack certainty. They want reassurance that the choice will work out. That reassurance does not exist, and waiting for it often creates the very outcome they fear. Clarity is not about guarantees. It is about alignment, knowing what you value, knowing what you are optimizing for, knowing what risks you are willing to accept. Once those are clear, action becomes possible even in the face of uncertainty. This does not mean acting recklessly. It means acting appropriately. It means matching the depth of your analysis to the nature of the decision. It means recognizing that many decisions are not final verdicts. They are experiments, and experiments do not require certainty. They require intention and feedback. So here is the core idea to take with you. Certainty asks, can I eliminate doubt? Clarity asks, do I know enough to move? Clear thinking means learning to move forward while uncertainty remains. Because in the real world, that is almost always the only option.